my fellow artisans. Do you have those clear moments that you know that you're in a new phase? This can happen with your clothes, your eating habits, the way you see life. But I am, of course, talking about art and art phases. You might have seen the change. I am dropping more and more watercolor speed paints and showing pictures of the final results. And I'm feeling really proud of myself to have reached my current level, and I'm eager to learn more. So I'm watching tutorials, I'm buying books about flower sketching and watercolor techniques, and I constantly want to make things with watercolor, like backgrounds for my point and click game that I'm trying to make. Like and subscribe if you want to hear more about that. And so I am investing in more watercolors and equipment, and I actually want to draw every day. And as with everything I have as a hobby or had with a hobby, I realized that this is possibly another phase where I go all in and spend money to get everything that like a pro might have or need, only to burn out in a couple of weeks. I have had this all my life, so don't get me wrong, I do enjoy this time, but the older I get, the more I realize that when something is really like hot right now, it is possibly temporary. People have always find it odd how many different hobbies I have or had. So throughout my life I've done dancing courses in several dancing genres. I did scouting, gymnastics, swimming, sculpting, writing novels. I actually have a novel out in Dutch. I wrote poetry. I do gardening, I made jewelry, baking, I made flower arrangements, I did flower pressing. I sometimes do animation, I did cosplay that I really want to get back into. I made my own clothes, I did script writing, I tried to learn several musical instruments, I tried singing, and probably a lot of more things that escape my memory right now. And the only two hobbies which have stayed with me throughout my life are drawing in any way that I can, usually with a pencil or digitally, and writing. And luckily for me, the hobbies that are a phase can come back for like another phase if I'm like, oh, I really want to do that, and then I have everything ready to start again. But it takes up a lot of space and a lot of money. With this watercolor phase, it was a bit different because before I had very cheap stuff and it really never worked for me. Like I said before in another video, at least when it comes to watercolor, it really pays off to invest in good watercolor colors and really good watercolor paper. Because before, in my former phase, I just used printer paper and the cheapest watercolors you can find, and I was so disappointed in what I could make, and it was just not good enough that I was like, oh, I'm really progressing. But now I have invested in a very good palette. I am using Royal Talens van Gogh watercolor nibs, not advertised, and I truly enjoy this medium now. I have some really nice watercolor paper here, and I recently bought a new paper. And with this little watery fox, I think I have found the style that I like. Soon I will try to learn to paint human portraits in watercolor, and I think that will be the next step that will uses a lot of my mind and skills that I have, because I think it's a bit more difficult to paint human portraits the way that I like, in terms of how the shading and skin color and everything comes together. But have you ever realized yourself you were in a phase? And how did you prevent burnout for this new hobby? Because at this moment I try to combine my watercolor works with digital art, and I try to use certain days in between to actively think about something else or work on another project, because I am really afraid that I will burn out soon. But at the moment life is quite busy, so I have a lot of other things to work on as well. So it kind of works out now. I really hope you like this little fancy fox. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers this year, so if you like this video, please subscribe. And see you another time, my fellow artisans. Goodbye.